If you're under 13, piss off.
Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Angry Dave's Adult RC. I'm your host, Angry Dave. We are here to finish up the build on the Raminator. So we got a few things left that need to be done before we can rip this fucker and get it dirty and most likely break something for the first time. So what we're going to do is finish up the wiring so we can eliminate that rat's nest, or at least tidy it up a little bit. We need to fill the cooling system with liquid. I need to change the seals on the shocks. I don't know if you can see that oily spot there, and there's a few others on the floor there. There's a report of the shock seals leaking after use. I don't know how many of them leak static just sitting, but mine do. So we're going to change those. We got a set of suspension limiting cables. What else? Oh, this this front bumper piece of cage here that's got the special edition number on it. I have another one. We're going to change that one out so I don't destroy the nice numbered special edition one. I got a couple of supports I need to make for the cooling setup there, the radiator and fan right there. There may be one or two other little nuggets, but nothing I can think of right offhand. So let's see what I want to do first. Alright, so I guess the first thing I'm going to do is the front bumper piece here. It should be pretty easy. We got that screw, that screw, that screw hiding down there behind the shock, and one just like it on the other side. And then if you look up, I don't know if that's focused, but there's a screw right there going up from the bottom on each side. Alright, so a couple things here I was mistaken about, or missed. There are some screws that come up from the bottom. I think I mentioned those, but there are, it looks like 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that come up from the bottom and hold this assembly together. And I forgot I ran the fucking brake cable right through it. So all I got to do is come up over here. I can't see shit on that side. Loosen up this collar, has a set screw. Pull the brake cable back out of it and free up that part, and then put the brake cable back in, tighten it back up. Alright, so we take our 2 through screws from the other piece. The 5 bottom screws are going to leave in because I'm going to leave this piece assembled. So we break our 5 screws out of the kit that we bought that comes with this crap. And all we got to do is screw them together, and it's ready to stick back in the truck. Alright, so I got it started hanging here from 2 screws. We'll tighten down these 2 screws and then put these 2 in the front back in, swing it down into place, and put the 2 that go in the side back in place. And that's pretty much it. Then all I got to do is reattach the cable, and I may try to run it this time so that it doesn't go through this, in case I have to take this shit apart again. It won't be in the way. Alright, so there it is. That part's all done. We got the cable run up around the outside and in the front of the plate so it doesn't go through this anymore. And that's that. So, next thing we're going to do, I think, is finalize the wiring. So what we had to do here is you take the wiring from the pump and you plug that into channel 5. I just added a Y connector so I can still use the voltage readout that's plugged in there. And then you take the speed control and plug it into channel 2, which is the brake servo channel. You unplug the engine cutoff because you're not going to use that anymore because there's no more engine, and then plug into that Y connector. And then up here where the toggle switch for the engine was, just take this red lead, tape it up, remove the switch from the chassis, take the little black ground out of there. You don't need that anymore either. So I've already done all that crap, well, except for taping that lead. So I'm going to go ahead and tidy this bundle of shit up and tuck it in here and put the top back on. Alright, we got that all closed up. Got some zip ties in there. Got the harness all secured. Got the wires all tidied up. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, if you look way down in there, the bracket that holds the speed control on, I'm pretty sure I put the screw in from the wrong direction, so I got to pull it out, put it back in the other direction, and put some fresh Loctite on it. So let me knock that out real quick. So I didn't realize that there actually were no threads in that cross member. So that plant went out the window pretty quick. So I found a longer bolt, put it up through the bottom, still threads into the bracket, and then we got a nylock nut on it. That fucker shouldn't be going anywhere. So now I'm going to start working on the suspension limiting cable kit, which I did get from Primal RC. I do have to say, I'm not super impressed with the design or engineering on this kit. A part that goes on a fucking somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000 machine should probably be a little better engineered. So what you get is you get 4 of these cables, 4 of these small anchors, 4 large anchors, 4 screws only for the small anchors, and 8 little cable securing screw-on ferrules. And then basically figure out where the fuck you can put them yourself. There's a bunch of different holes in the frame plates that you can attach the upper part to, no problem, but the lower part, there's no threaded bosses. There's no bolts that you can take advantage of that are a little extra long. There was no fucking plan. They just kind of like said, okay, here's some hardware you can use to mount a cable. Figure it out your fucking self. So I'm not real impressed with that right off the bat. But then as far as assembly goes, what I've been doing is I took the smaller ends, pre-assembled the cable with those, get it as tight as you can. There's only very little groove in this, so if you don't get it super tight, as soon as you yank on it a few times and stretch that cable a little bit, it'll be able to pop right the fuck off. So I got a hole on the front and on the rear. There's an unutilized hole in the plate right behind the unsprung shock. So you can bolt that on right there, no problem. And then the lower part, I just ran through the bottom of the shock eye. I ran it through the mount. We'll see if that is a problem or not. It doesn't appear to be. I did bolt that shock back on, and when it's all the way up, tensed like that, it doesn't touch anything but the eye. It doesn't contact any of the shaft or the body or anything like that. I imagine it'll probably make some rub marks on the axle. It may even kind of fuck the aluminum up a little bit because it's a steel cable and an aluminum casting, but we'll keep an eye on it and see. And then as far as mounting it, all I did was just pull the front suspension. I mounted the cable on top and got it ready to go on the bottom. Pulled the suspension all the way up until it was maxed out, let it come back down a little bit, and then set the cable tension as tight as I could get it there, and then secured the ferrule. It's not rocket science. Alright, so there we go. We got the cables all installed. I think I might slide this anchor down a little bit more, but aside from that, yeah, it's in. It's anchored. Let's see if I can get you in there. So the next thing we got to do is, if you look down in here, here's the radiator. It's attached with 2 screws up in the top here to the battery tray, but I don't like that it hangs down this low and it's only got 2 screws in it. So we made a bracket and some links, and we're going to support that radiator. The bracket's going to screw on here and here, and then the links will mount to the bracket, and they'll screw on to this brace up here, or bolt on with nylock nuts to those locations. So let me go ahead and get that installed. So there's all the support parts installed. Got the number 8 all thread with Traxxas link ends, no balls, and a custom made bracket. Secures it pretty well. It's nice and stiff. So now on to the next project. Alright, so the next project really should be rebuilding the shocks and putting the new seals in there, but to tell you the truth, I'm fucking sick of working on this. I want to rip it. I want to see this fucking thing moving. I want to see it flying. So I think I'm just going to go rip it with the shocks the way they are, blow all the fucking oil out of them, then I'll rebuild them and put fresh oil in them and whatever. So yeah, that's going to fucking do it. The fucking Raminator is built, wired, done. So the next time you see this thing, it's going to be flying. If you like the build, go ahead and drop us a like. Leave a comment, share the video, check us out on our social media pages, and we'll see you next time on Adult RC, where grown-up time is playtime.